In this video, I'm going to explain how I went from being somebody that could barely wake up before 11 a.m., barely graduated college with an English literature degree and zero job prospects, and in only 18 months, basically 10x'd my income. Over time, built a 7-figure business that I still run to this day, and built a life that's full of all the experiences that I ever wanted to achieve. I'm going to explain this in such a way that you can literally implement this as you go through this video. While every one of these habits has value and impact on its own, they really have the biggest impact when they're all combined together. I'll explain why later in the video, but just make sure that you stick around to the end to understand the magic of all these habits when they stack on top of each other. Otherwise, you'll end up with the equivalent of a dry cracker when you could have been enjoying a delicious crumble cookie. The first habit in my stack is something that I noticed that every single entrepreneur that I studied has in common. While they have varying routines, like Andrew Huberman loves his cold plunges, Dan Coe and Ryan Holiday love to jump right into journaling and writing first thing in the morning, they all jump into the most important, highest impact, or most difficult tasks first. This is a concept that's called eating the frog. In short, it basically says that you do the hardest things first in the day. This could be your hardest tasks, the things that are most important, or that maybe you've been putting off the longest, or the things that you just really want to do the least. And there's a lot of science that backs up why this specific habit is so important. The first is our circadian rhythm, or how our brain operates from the time that we wake up in the morning to the time that we start winding down and going to sleep at night. Research has shown that our cognitive abilities peak first thing in the morning. This means that we have the most mental bandwidth and concentration to focus on things right after we wake up. Why not focus on the hardest things first so that as the day goes on, our task list gets easier and easier, and as a result, our day gets easier and easier to go through. The second reason why this is important is something called decision fatigue. As we travel through our day, we're faced with decisions that we need to make each and every day. Every single decision that we make contributes to a concept called decision fatigue. Research has shown that the more decisions we make, the more our ability to make good decisions disintegrates. By completing a hard or necessary task first thing in the morning, you're literally lessening the burden of decision fatigue as you go throughout the rest of your day. This also ensures that most of your mental resources are allocated towards those high impact tasks when you have the best decision-making capability. Now, while the science behind these first two reasons why eating the frog is so very important, for me, the biggest benefit of this is something called productivity momentum. Put simply, what this means is that by doing the hardest things early in the day, you're literally building momentum for the rest of your day, which makes the rest of your tasks easier to complete and carries that momentum throughout the rest of your entire day. For me, this has been a key factor in building my 7-figure agency. Each day, the hardest and most critical tasks that have the biggest impact on my business are completed first thing in the day when I have the biggest amount of decision-making capability in my mind. I'm able to do my highest quality work and make my highest quality decisions because my mind is sharpest, and I ensure that the biggest, most high impact things, the things that are most necessary to do to move the needle for my business, are completed early in the day without fail. This is then carried throughout the rest of the day, throughout the rest of the week, throughout the rest of the month. That makes all the rest of the tasks that I need to complete that much easier to get done. So now we know that getting the hard things done first thing in the morning has incredible impact on our productivity. But without the second habit in my stack, that first habit's pretty much worthless. The second habit is a concept called planning your work and working your plan. This sounds simple enough in theory, but it's game-changing in practice. Let me explain. When my business partner Derek and I were starting our careers, we worked at the same place. During this time, we had a boss named Ron. Ron was an incredible boss, and he was our first mentor in the whole realm of business. Among many, many lessons that we took from Ron, one of the biggest was planning your work and working your plan. Every day before we left the office, he would have us take account of what we got done during that day and what was actually left to do. Then we identified our biggest priorities for the next morning. On days that I did this, I was locked in. I blasted through my top priorities, slammed the phones, and my energy was high throughout the entire day as tasks just seemed to complete themselves. On days I didn't complete this, I would feel stress on my way into the office. I'd take my time getting my coffee in the morning, and I'd slowly make my way to my desk, staring at my screen as I got there, wondering what the highest impact things that I should start doing for the day were. You guessed it, I ended up doing nothing at all, wasting a ton of time, and it wasn't until several hours into the day that I actually start getting things done. Simply by taking one single minute at the end of the day to plan my work for the next day, and then actually doing the work when I got to work the next day, I saved myself hours of wasted time, anxiety, and a lack of productivity during the next workday. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know that this is something that I obsessively do still to this day. It also feeds directly into my first habit, making sure that I always know what the hardest, most impactful tasks that I need to do the next day are. As a byproduct, it also eliminates decision fatigue because I don't have to decide what to do the next day, and I can just jump right into the most high impact work. Now we know how to start our morning off with the right foot, and we know how to plan our work and work our plan so that the next morning we always know exactly what to jump into to have the highest impact and start our day with a bang. Together, these two first habits helped me really dig myself out of a hole in life. It helped me build a six-figure business with ease. Simply by getting the right things done in the right order, your life can change almost overnight. However, as with anything, there are levels to this, my friends. This third habit enhances the first two habits in my stack, making me work even better. Habit 3 is moving my body daily. The days of the overworked, overstressed, overweight, knowledge worker, or entrepreneur are dead, my friends. The science suggests and confirms that this is actually the exact opposite of what you want to do if you want to have a high impact life. If we want to do our best work as efficiently as possible, physical activity is essential, and for a few key reasons. Number 1, it improves cognitive function. Number 2, it reduces stress. It enhances creativity, it increases energy levels overall, and perhaps most importantly, it actually improves concentration and focus. By getting active, you're actually priming your brain to better handle the demands of work and tasks. From these points alone, it's easy to see why moving your body daily acts like rocket fuel on top of the first 2 points in my habit stack. So here's how I implement this in my own life. First of all, I always work out first thing in the morning. I like to get up early in the morning, get my body to the gym, and literally have this out of the way before my workday even starts. Secondly, I like to go for a walk in the evening. I like to take my dog for a 45-minute walk. This helps me to unwind, reflect, and honestly, I have like my best ideas during these walks. And during this, I'll already be thinking about what I got done today and what I'm going to get done for my biggest priorities tomorrow. It's been a long road for me to build a business that makes me 7 figures per year. And for the longest time, I thought that working as many hours as possible would bring the success that I wanted. This worked for a time, and even though I was moving my body every day, I was prioritizing my list and working my plan, and I was doing the hardest things every single morning, something was still missing. The fourth and perhaps the most important habit in my entire stack is getting enough sleep every night. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a challenge that was so difficult, it stumped you to the point that you just could not figure out the answer, and you decided to just finally give up, go to sleep, only to wake up the next morning and all of a sudden have the answer just walk into your brain and it just comes to you? Me too, and this is the magic of sleep at work. Sleep is essential for every single aspect of life. Even for the longest time, neglecting sleep was actually encouraged in the name of just getting more done. It's actually been proven that the opposite is true. Sleep is the foundation on which your day is built on. Getting any less than 7 hours of sleep every night has been shown and directly correlated to a decrease in cognitive function, decision making, and completely kneecapping our creativity. It increases stress and it wreaks havoc on our emotions. Immediately after I started prioritizing getting enough sleep every night, my productivity in my business completely skyrocketed. We went from averaging $30,000 to $40,000 per month with our business to getting 6-figure months on the regular. Since I like to get up early and work out, I like to make sure that I'm in bed by 8 p.m. every single night. The last and final habit in my stack might be the key to unlocking the next level that you want to achieve in your life. Habit 5 is learning something new every single day. The average person reads a completely pathetic amount of books every single year, myself included, and learning for most people literally stops when they graduate college. For me, this was true for a really long time, and when I was most unhappy in my life, when I was working that desk job with Derek, even though we had a great mentor, even though we were starting our careers and we thought that we were really cool, I looked back on it and I just was not growing as a person at all, really. I attribute that to a complete lack of learning. So something that I do every single day now is a habit that I call treadmill university. As soon as I get to the gym in the morning, I try and walk for 30 to 45 minutes, and I have a watch later folder saved on YouTube so I can just jump on the treadmill and start learning something that's going to impact me and I can implement first thing during my day. This YouTube video that I'm recording for all of you right now has come from a synthesis of all sorts of different content that I've consumed in my life, and this is something that is just so essential if you want to grow as a person. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know what you learned from this video in the comments down below, and if you haven't already, drop a subscribe. A great video to watch after this one would be this one right here, where I talk about how to stay productive for 97% of every single day.